There are many simple things in the world. Shovels. They are all different. Gardening shovel. Unloading shovel. Children's shovel. But there is also a different shovel. We use it when we come to the position. In short time, it helps us dig a trench which saves us from bullets. If a tank will pass over the trench, there is a high probability that it will not cause any harm to the soldier. We dig in the ground, deeper, and then connect the trenches with our friends to the left. In just a few hours, trenches are all connected. When we do not have an axe, we can use a shovel to cut a loaf of bread. A soldier uses a shovel as a paddle, crossing the wide river under enemy fire. If we run out of ammunition, we will use a shovel again. And then we'll move on. And when we get the order to stop, we'll take a shovel again and build around us an impregnable fortress. This fortress is defended by the Army of Ukraine, our army.
A lot of people look at us as robots or just out doing a job, but everything we see and do affects us just like it does everybody else.
A lot of problems with first responders and veterans is that now we're in a battlefield that's very different.
I've lost more friends to suicide than I did in combat, and it really hurts.
When you push the human envelope to those maximum extents, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually, and then you pull that plug, nothing prepares you for the silence. Nothing prepares you for that void.
You can't come that close to death without it having some effect on you.
I'll never forget my wife telling me, you know, you're not the same Brett that I married.
What War Horses does is it puts you in that environment to, in essence, look in the mirror. But that mirror's that horse. And that horse is going to tell you where you're at.
You got to relax. You got to calm down. You got to slow your mind down and just think about this one thing, controlling that horse.
The first thing we do before we get on a horse, we breathe. To let go of everything. Let go of everything in your head. If I don't let go of everything, I cannot be present with the horse.
It's magic. I just started crying. It was the first time in my life that I literally let everything go.
Compassion, generosity, love. All of these things trickle back into what it is to be a human being.
It's completely changed me.
All the confidence I had lost, it started coming back working with these horses. They've given me my life back.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Do you ever have one of those moments where you think, how the hell did I get here? Jeez, what happened to me? I was ruling the galaxy, had a cherry new battle station. I mean, this place had an omelet bar. A straight-up omelet bar. Moments. That was my out.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I looked my woman in the eye sockets. I told her straight out. I just said it, man. I said it. I said, bitch, I'm the man of the house.
Yeah, you said bitch, though. You called your wife a bitch.
Yeah.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
Broadcasting deep within the mountain compound, or maybe in the basement of the Pentagon, probably at the hot dog stand in the center of the fucking complex. I'm your host, and in the gunner seat, got the shipwrecks. What's up, man?
Oh, no. Monday, you know how it is.
Yeah, it's Monday, dude. Yeah, real quick, I just want to make an announcement. We waxed Ayman al-Zawahiri. I guess I guess he was number 2 man. Al-Qaeda. He was one of the big plotters and masterminds of 9/11, and he was just drone striked. And also, there's some dude named Haqqani that got him drone strike too. So yeah, go USA. And of course, naturally, everyone's going to take credit for it, even though it was the hard work of that drone that was flying over Afghanistan. Afghanistan.
The command.
Yeah. I mean, well, Afghanistan's all pissed off and butthurt. They're all upset that they that we had some drone-in happening. We also also from what I'm reading from reports, because this is like literally just preliminary, we also waxed one of the Haqqani kids, which yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm torn every time there's some big hits when it comes to Al-Qaeda. Right now, W is probably going, God damn it, they got the Al-Qaeda. Fuck it. It doesn't matter who fucking got them. Again, everyone's going to take credit for it. Everyone's going to say, see in my administration this happened, see in my administration that happened, and pretty fucking tired of it, all of it. Anyways, fucking politicians have been pissing me the fuck off, especially with their bullshit. So, yeah, so that just happened. Like, literally, it was just announced. If you guys have been paying attention to all the breaking news, and of course, it's going to be breaking news everywhere because, it's a big deal. Only took a few months to do it after we have had actionables of actionables.
Forgot about it.
Yeah, everyone forgot about it. Yeah. This being the month of August, this is the month where I don't kind of some timing here. This is also the month that coincides with the disastrous pullout of Afghanistan. So I'm always going to make sure that we remind you of that towards the end of the month. Myself and Scott Mann on the 25th of August are going to be doing a joint. He's going to be my guest co-host, and all he and I are going to do is shoot shit. And it's just going to be me and him shooting shit about Afghanistan, his experiences. We're also going to talk about his book he's going to be talking about, and then we're also going to be the day prior on Wednesday, the 24th, is going to be a live viewing of Elegy of a Green Beret by Scott Mann, which is almost like in the spirit of Hamilton. I know you guys and gals that have seen it before. I've seen it on the TL already, which is kind of cool. If you guys haven't seen that, that's a good fucking movie. It's a project for it's a near and dear project to Scott Mann. And again, exactly that. Zach should not have gone down like that at all. A lot of people say that, but you can't talk about that because then people will say, yeah, but wait, whatever. You're being a fucking apologist and blah, blah, blah. So speaking of which, Ukraine's still going on. And I want to talk about fucking China, okay? Since we're already banned in China, I want to make sure that we appeal the Facebook standards so that way we could have this message come across China. Fuck China. We might get
that's
for that.
Right.
So fuck China. Fuckity fuck China. There we go. China can eat a dick. Alpha Deco. Delta, sorry. Deco. Sorry. Had some coffee, yes. Was running a little low on the coffee Bustelo, so today I had half a pot of freaking stocking milk coffee.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, baby. So.
Uh-oh.
So right now my pupils are pulsating, and I freaking can see sound. That's right, West Taiwan, Josiah. I'm kind of tripping out right now. That China throwing a threat that if Nancy Pelosi were to visit China or visit West Taiwan,
Taiwan.
Yeah, visits the Taiwan. Why do I keep saying Taiwan? Taiwan. I don't know why I'm saying that. Taiwan. Wig splitter, brother. That's what I drank. Wig splitter. And they have the very foofy, the caramel blend. Yeah, some foofy. About a 5-pound bag of that shit too. It's pretty good. Threatened to blow the plane that Nancy Pelosi's riding on out of the sky. That's what China said.
Could that be a blessing in disguise?
No, look. Okay, that's a good point. I'll admit it. I will say this, that I might not agree with other politicians in the other side or both sides or politicians. Politicians piss me off anyways. I think there should be term limits and age limits when it comes to members of Congress. Well, that's another story. But I don't I don't wish harm to them. Does that make sense? It's like I don't want, because in a way they're fellow Americans. Because think about this: something were to happen. Well, I'm just saying they're fellow Americans. So if something were to happen to her aircraft while she's flying into Taiwan, we would just hold fucking China responsible. But the thing is that no one's going to say shit about it.
Ain't that the truth?
No one's going to say shit. No one's going to fucking do anything. We're going to lick the boots of fucking China. And I'll say this, some things that pissed me off today is when White House press spokesperson John Kirby said that, we don't support fucking an independent Taiwan, which got me fucking lit the fuck up, dude. Lit me, just like, what are you fucking saying? I think statements like that are bold to come out, need to come out from the president. So at the same time, while the president is fucking surprisingly happy and jovial about this event with killing of Al-Qaeda, which is, I'm all cool with that, he should be saying, fuck you, China. Taiwan is a country. I'm waiting for us to get zucked. I'm waiting to see all the comms here to see us that we got zucked. A bunch of fucking China simps. I've had it.
I got my popcorn. I'm waiting.
I've had it. So people were saying that, well, comparatively, the military in China is this, and this. They said the same. There were some Ivan simps that were saying that Ivan was going to just roll over fucking Ukraine, right?
Right.
I think the same fucking way for China. I think China is as weak as Ivan when it comes to their military. I think they're disorganized. I think they're fucked up.
Do you really want to find out, though?
Fuck, who cares? Fuck it. Fuck, dude, I was like, what's it? Like Alfred on Batman? Some men just want to see the world burn. At this fucking point, dude, we're so well, I mean, CQ likes to do it a lot too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're so fucking all over the place on our policy and our foreign policy. We're so fucked up. We just go sideways now, right? Everyone's like, right. Would you rather risk war, blah, 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 blah. So you're saying that if a plane were to shoot down the fucking a member of Congress, you would be happy with that? And you would say, oh, no, that's not a big deal, and maybe we just have an agreement, and let's discuss this. No.
Do you think she would actually go, though? Knowing China's saying what they're saying?
Man, China, man. Whatever, dude. I think that she should fucking go. Now, I do think that the White House saying that they don't support an independent Taiwan is fucked up. That's what I think is fucked up. And I don't think a fucking spokesman should be saying that. Spokespeople should not be speaking that shit. That's like having a fucking PAO make command decisions and make command statements. No, that's a command issue right there, dude. This is the commander-in-chief. You need to say this shit with your chest, with your heart full out. If you can't say that, there's a bunch of individuals, there's a bunch of citizens of Taiwan right now that are looking at this shit. They're like, no way. They follow Twitter too. They follow social media too.
Yeah, there's going to be a big fallout from that one.
I'll be honest with you. It's like one of those things that they should have waited to say. It was some stuff that I'm just saying, you're fucked up for saying that shit. That should not have been left to a lowly not a lowly spokesperson, because obviously if you're working at that high level of comms, then you're not a lowly spokesperson. But why isn't the administration saying this like fucking with their full chest? If you're gonna fucking say that shit, if you were happy and fucking ready to post up that Al-Mal al-Zawahiri was killed and you're doing a fucking victory lap, have the same fucking sack to say that you don't support Taiwan as an independent country. Yes, burn.
They'll never say that.
They'll never say that at all. So, again, top news is Al-Qaeda mastermind, Ayman al-Zawahiri, age 71, killed in a reported drone strike. Again, a member of the Haqqani family was also killed too. So again, victory laps. Everyone's gonna be like, "Yay! Look what he did!" And there we go.
I did it. I did it.
I did it. Well, just like well, fucking Trump said the same thing when the other ISIS on Iraq dude was killed, and then and then freaking Obama when Osama was killed. So they're all always gonna fucking. Am I lit, bro? Lit of what? Lit of life, caffeine, unbridled rage that just likes to fly out. That's my secret, Captain. I'm always angry. Is that what? I'm being me, Alec. You must be new here. Are you new here or whatever?
You know, none of that wouldn't happen if it wasn't for good intel workers, though.
Yes, I will say that intel does play a good part into finding out where the bad guys are at. I will say that. I'll give them that credit.
And then the people that actually
have to do it. Is that what you're saying? That actually did the task? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean,
they're the ones that should get the credit.
Yeah.
All that hard work.
Well, I mean, I didn't see the speech because we were getting show prep and all that, it was conveniently had to do it before the 7:30 Eastern Standard Time to beat all the prime time stuff, because that's when all the news networks are either sipping on him or bashing him. You know what I mean? So the 8 o'clock time frame, Eastern Standard Time, is usually where all the pundits or all the people who are praising, like people who like to say nice things. Why can't we just not say nice things about this?
We gotta say nice things.
I don't know, man. It seems nowadays it's like if you say something mean, then you'll get your account freaking suspended, or you'll get social media squashed and all that. But hey, you can't say there's no such thing as censorship.
Yeah.
I love it, man. The hypocrisy is awesome. I love it. I love watching hypocrisy on social media when it's all, dude, just straight the fuck up. Everything when it happens to gun control, foreign diplomacy, national security, everyone's got one thing to say it, and everyone's got another way to say it, which I think is funny. I love it.
You think that bill will pass, though, that's been in the news that might deal with firearms, though?
You're talking about the assault weapons ban that has been passed through what was it, the House or something like that? I can't remember. It's passed.
Do you think that actually will happen?
You think that will actually happen? I think there'll be some lawsuits that'll be done, and that way they'll say, "Hey, look, you can't do this," and the Supreme Court will just be like, psh. I'll be honest with you. I would think that did I just say honest with thee? Let me tell you something. I was watching some Stargate last night, and then I was watching some how do I say this? I was watching some philosophical stuff, and they were saying these and thous and thuses and because of thee and all that. So I was like, oh wow, yeah, stuff's pretty cool. So now this stuff is just slipping out because I'm amped on freaking coffee. So if I get a couple of these, then yeah. So like Daniel said,
as long as we stay away from conspiracies.
Well, I'm just. It's not conspiracy theories. I'll be honest with you. I will say that some conspiracy theories are fun. Fun to look at or fun to watch people talk about. Like Alex Jones, I like to crack on Alex Jones about that shit.
Oh, speaking of him, did you hear what he's been doing lately?
No, what happened? Whoa. What happened? What happened now?
He's making fun of the judge that's on his case or something.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Tell him it's all like set up or something like that.
It's all set up. You guys are pissing me off.
But yeah, he's already going off on the judge. Something you do not want to do.
Really, but you think about it, though. I mean, it's almost like the individuals that get busted for drug trafficking and all that, and get busted for. Yeah, that's another thing too. So we just had we're gonna have a prisoner exchange, right?
Right.
From that basketball, the WNBA player who was caught having cannabis weed oil in her baggage and stuff like that.
Right.
And they're gonna
for
have
medical purposes.
For medical, of course, because everybody knows that medicinal marijuana cards are redeemable in Ivanland, and so you could just go ahead and just throw those cards out. And then there was another guy who got busted for cannabis, who was serving a 14-year sentence and all that. Well, because she was detained. Now we're doing a prisoner exchange. And here's the thing that pisses me off. It's like you are doing a prisoner exchange for weed charges in Russia, but you ain't going to bust people out or release people for weed charges here.
Didn't Elon pointed that out?
Well, we've always pointed the stuff out that we all support, of course, the legislation for the legalization of medicinal and recreational marijuana and cannabis. Figure and tax the fuck out of it. Use it just like alcohol and stuff like that. I don't know why we don't do the same. Why we shouldn't do the same. And, of course, all of the reefer madness, weed snorter, overly conservative individuals that say that that'll just lead to whatever. Meanwhile, these are the same type of conservatives that also have a fucking heavy cocaine problem and, get caught snort on fucking line, snorting and shit like that. Wait, or is that Hunter Biden? I can't. Anyways, so you can't deny that shit. But my point being is that if you're going to release her and this other American who was busted for weed, then it's time to go ahead and release everybody who's been busted here for weed.
Amen to that.
I don't understand how hard this is. It's. I'll say how hard it is. It's just there's a lot of interest involved in this shit, and that's what pisses me off too. So we have congressional individuals in Congress and lobbyists who like to fucking get some kickbacks and hey, it's all a fucking money thing, dude.
Well, how do you think they pay for running for office?
Bro, exactly. All that dark money and then PACs and stuff like that. Shady as hell. I remember members of Congress that were running against the legislation of marijuana and legalization of marijuana, and then it turns out that the Speaker of the House, John Boehner, invested in massive amounts of legal cannabis industries. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? So, all right, real quick. This is another thing that's another veteran issue that I think we need to discuss real quick. I mean, like I said, we got no guests tonight, so we can shoot the shit and go back and forth about the legalization of weed. I think everybody can come to an agreement here that and concur that legalizing marijuana is smart. Let's do it.
Why not?
Let's do it.
Make money off of it.
James says she should stay in Russia and do her time. She knew what she packed, and if you're willing to do the crime, you're willing to do the time. She was lucky she didn't get busted in Indonesia. She's lucky she didn't get. I think there's some countries in the Pacific that will consider the death penalty for they wouldn't even consider smuggling. Yeah, oh yeah, dude, they fucking death sentence for drug dealers.
Wow.
So they did, and I'm glad you mentioned the prisoner swap. So these two Americans that were in jail in Russia, being exchanged for, and look at my audience here. If I start mentioning names, you guys probably don't. Whatever. I'm not saying you're not going to get it. I'm just saying that the reference, you guys would be a more familiar reference. The Nicolas Cage movie called The Lord of War. The character that he played, that's the guy who is being released. The guy actually predicted that he was going to be released sometime. way back. Even in the movie, he even said at the end of the movie that he was not going to spend so much time in jail, which is kind of true. He kind of predicted that shit.
Wasn't he locked up for a good time, though?
He was locked up for a good he was locked up for I think he had over like 25 years or something like that, trafficking weapons and they tried to do the connecting of that led to the death of Americans and shit like that,
Right.
So it which that's another thing too. It's like, 'cause then we go into the debate of firearms use. Who's the more culpable person, or the one person that should be held responsible? Should it be the individual that sells the weapons, or the individuals who pull the trigger? That's the I love that philosophical debate when people just go back and forth, and just like the Second Amendment stuff. Everyone's like, "Oh, it should not be infringed and well regulated, and it was only meant for hunting. Weapons of war should not be in the streets."
He's starting to sound like the movie War Dogs.
Again, lobbyists involved in the legislation of firearms, arms control, or I should say, gun laws. They have a stake in all that shit. They like to feed the and of course the politicians, just like the PACT Act, which I'm going to go off in a minute about. They're going to get involved. They're going to say, "Hey, look, can you talk about this legislation, introduce a bill, and we'll make sure that you get elected?" And of course, the individuals that are for it, that want to keep that power. Again, that's why I'm saying we should have term limits. Almost like term and age limits, just like as a matter of fact, have it like the military and shit. Maybe like the military. I shouldn't say maybe like the military. If you have not solved anything, and all you do is just sitting there shit posting or talking shit and not really legislate anything, or not co-authored any bills, or not even write any bills, or not had any bills passed, then maybe you should go. If you're almost in your fucking 90s,
like the law.
Bro, dude, right? That's what blows me.
Like everyone in office.
Yeah. Jordan says that Nancy Pelosi is going to be our Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Wow, that's a reference. That's a blast from the past. Speaking of which, isn't there some drama going on in Serbia right now with Kosovo? We're bringing KFOR back. Yeah. Incredible. I thought we were turning the corner in freaking the Balkans. I thought and we're still there. See, that's the issue. The reason why nobody hears about it is because the Serbs weren't capping Americans. That's the reason why the Infinity War was so unpopular. No one gave a shit about Kosovo and Bosnia, and no one gave a shit about that shit. Why? Because the Serbs weren't killing Americans. The Serbs were not firing at Americans. The Serbs were not blowing, using IEDs and stuff like that. No, not at all. I wonder how it would have happened if it would have been like reverse. Like, what if Afghanistan was all fucking peaceful, and then Europe would have fucking lit up? What would have happened then? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. That's a neat twist idea.
I'm just saying. I'm just thinking about how it would think about this. Think about how that's probably the reason why in the beginning the Serbs didn't do anything. It was probably like fear. Now, if we were restarting, if time was flipped, if an alternative universe was happening, then what? Then what would you see? You're like, wow. We don't need to be in Europe. All that anti-NATO stuff would be happening. I love it. Love it. I'm not saying I'm all about conflict and all this. I really do believe in peace. Don't get me wrong, but there's also a little bit of percentage of fun, fuck around and find out type of shit.
Oh, for sure.
Yep, already talked about that. Appreciate it, Sean. Yeah. So, the PACT Act. You know what the PACT Act is? You know what that is?
No.
So the PACT Act was a legislation that was to ensure that money was provided to veterans in the treatment of burn pit injuries.
Yeah, the burn pit. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. So, Bill was out for a little bit, and there was some. It wasn't signed. There were some members of Congress that voted nay on it, so it didn't pass. Didn't happen. I'll be honest with you. Everyone's like trying to point the finger and blame it on whatever, and this is a slush fund, and this is money. And a lot of other money's going here, a lot of money's going there, and all it's doing is filling the pockets of employees of the VA and all that. Well, guess what? The VA is going through some retention issue shit as well. Money going to the VA to assist veterans in treatment for toxic fucking, fumes and burn pits. What'd you expect? We complain about not having enough veteran VA employees on the payroll. So if there's money that's going to get sent to the VA to have them handle the caseload of this, wouldn't it fucking make sense to pass the fucking bill? Wouldn't it make sense to go ahead and say, hey, look, yeah, maybe we should do that? Now, of course, we have prominent members of Congress that like to say it was the Democrats' fault. And other ones saying it's Republicans' fault. Everyone's saying
it's all about vote.
Yeah, it's all about the vote. Exactly, the votes.
All about the votes.
I think it's full of shit. I think it's full of shit. It's full of shit. This politics that everyone's fucking playing. And what I don't fucking like is when veterans are jumping back and forth, say they're starting to pick sides on this shit. And I said this before. No one gave a fuck when Alwyn Cash's Medal of Honor, when that bill was going to pass. Nobody gave a shit what was attached to it. Nobody did. Nobody. Has anybody looked to see what else was attached to that? What else was attached to that bill? Does anybody know? I don't fucking know. All I get.
I don't know.
I wanted to have that fucking. I wanted to have that energy. Supporting veterans. If you're not involved in the legislative process, and you have a comedian, a former talk show host, Jon Stewart, that is schooling individuals on this, fuck's your issue. My only beef with all this stuff is that kid, David Hogg. he's putting his fucking mouth in here. I get you support veterans and I get all this shit, but let the veterans fucking talk about it. It just blows me the fuck away how everyone's using I'm telling you, man, everyone's jumping back and forth, going on their fucking podcast saying how the Republicans this and the Democrats that.
It's always like that every year on every subject. All the time.
We've invited Jon Stewart to come on and shoot the shit with us too. So, as he's making the rounds, of course, with all other podcasters and media, I'm sure he'll get to us. But
everyone gets to us.
Yeah, exactly. That just blows me away. The VFW, IAVA, a lot of veteran service organizations were saying this shit is a fucking standalone bill. There was nothing to it. The VFW, National HQ, even tweeted out and posted on video. What the hell's going on, dude? Why is it that if you fucking love veterans so much, and that's the thing too, is that you've had other members of Congress that will sit down with veterans that are suffering from burn pits and say that they were going to do this and they were going to make the fucking change. And never fucking do. These are the same fucking members of Congress, like I said before, when it comes to term limits and when it comes to age limits, are still fucking there. I got friends that have suffered from this. A long time ago, way back in the day, I think it was under the Obama administration. Maybe it was. I think it was under the Obama administration, or I think it was. I can't remember. I had to do my research on this part. So forgive me for not getting the details right on this. But there was a registry that was going to be filled out that the VA asked you to fill out. And if you were filled out and you filled it out, then they said, keep this registry, update your information, because one day you're all going to get we're going to keep this registry to use to treat veterans and whatever immuno diseases, and there we go. Could you imagine just like fucking not voting for this shit? So there's senators that are pointing fingers back and forth. Again, John fucking Stewart, dude, and the VFW, IAVA. And if you look at all the videos that Jon Stewart's in, that's when he's talking about this stuff, you'll see it. You'll see him standing with it's a pretty bipartisan support there. Why's it got to be like that, huh? You know, when you have other Republicans saying, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Why didn't you vote for this?" Don't believe all the fucking hype. Don't believe all the fucking drama. Just unfortunate. Isn't there somebody in your family shipwreck? I don't want to blow like your purse or something like that, but aren't you going through some shit too?
Oh, I'm always going through tons of bullshit issues.
Yeah, no, I registered too. As a matter of fact, when I was retiring, they said, "Hey, you're going to make sure you fill this out. Make sure you fill the spur pit registry out, and blah 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 blah. Because one day this will be benefits to this will be given to veterans, and yada yada yada." Just when, and that's what I'm saying, just when these politicians try to own each other, they're not realizing that they're gonna like own themselves. Isn't that some midterms coming up, right? Got some elections coming up. You still there, Shipwreck? Did I lose you?
No, I'm here. I'm just
thinking,
trying to fix something on my end or something with static. That's all.
Oh, is that you with the static?
I don't know.
I'm hearing static
Some
too.
Technical stuff.
I'm hearing some static, and I thought, I was like, oh shit. Here I'm messing around with my shit. I'm like, God damn, dude. Am I all messed up? Am I messed up?
So I'm trying to figure out if it's me or you.
Veterans groups have called this a slap in the face. Other veterans are going online and saying that politicians are fucked up and also this stuff without even looking at the research of what exactly it is, of what exactly is supposed to have passed or what is not passed.
That's normal. I don't trust politicians anymore when it comes to.
I kind of thinking, of course, there's here's what's funny is that you have all these problems. What's funny is that I'm seeing Congress people arguing with Jon Stewart and who's speaking in front of the VFW, and I'm telling you, man, who would have thought in the year of St. Javelin 2022 that we'd have Jon Stewart advocating more for fucking veterans than these politicians that ran on the ticket to support veterans. Support the troops, right?
Yep.
I kind of like, if I was a comms person, if I was somebody running a campaign comms, I'd tell people you better shut the fuck up and start changing the rhetoric to say, or look, now I'm getting educated, or we're working with somebody, or doing something to fix this.
That's asking too much.
Yeah. As soon as this happened, of course, all the other politicians, like Chuck Schumer, John Cooper, a lot of other news pundits, all freaking, they just kind of fucking right. You can't pick a side on this shit. They're right. Of course, Ted Cruz. Well, and this gives pork. This is pork. This is pork. This is pork. This is pork. Look at you, Ted Cruz, talking all that shit when your fucking infrastructure in Texas is all fucked up. Well, you got motherfuckers still voting for you and saying, "We love you, Ted." Yeah, but we can't run our ACs. That's what blows me away. Ted Cruz, Lauren Boebert, all of them. You look at the fucking places they talk about democratically run cities, but you look at the districts that they're in or who they fucking represent. Yeah, they're fucking their districts or their fucking states are probably fucked up too. Actually, they are fucked up. Oscar says, didn't Biden give a State of Union just about burn pits? Yeah, Biden, Trump, Obama, Bush, they all talked about burn pits.
Yep.
They all talked about it. It's not just specific to one specific president. They all talked about it.
Both parties.
So I just figured I'd bring it to y'all's attention because being the fact that our followership, probably one of the largest mill media followerships in on social media, we'll just go ahead and give that to you. Get that information. Only because I like to see people fight sometimes, but this is the fight for your brother and sister, right?
Right type of fight.
Yeah. Again, nobody said shit when Alwyn Cash's Medal of Honor bill went through. Nobody said shit. Nobody give a fuck what was tied to it. It was about preserving and honoring, preserving the honor of our fallen brother. The same thing should be for our brothers and sisters in arms, and their veteran families and all that. All of it. You should be just as fucking happy. You should bring just that fucking amount of energy and smoke to it, just like you fucking did Alwyn Cash's support for the Medal of Honor. Don't really give a fuck about anything other than this shit. The bill gives a $400 billion blank check. You mean the money that you fucking wanted? Blank check to who? You mean you wanted that money? What the fuck do you wanted to use that money for, Ted? Motherfuckers still vote for him though. Did you have rolling blackouts in Texas?
They were going to do that in my area, but they never did.
They never did that?
No.
Yeah.
But then again, they don't do nothing here.
They say they're not going to do what they do.
Yeah.
So.
I'm good.
Yeah, and of course,
do whatever we want over here. So.
Yeah, even though you guys are suffering with AC and shit, having AC issues. Are you blaming it on climate change, or is it just because it's summer? That's what blows me away. People talk about climate. I'm not saying that the pollution and all that stuff doesn't affect the climate. I'm just saying that, well, no shit. That's like saying it gets cold in winter.
They've always been saying stuff like, oh, the ice caps are going to melt for how many years?
Yeah.
They never did. The ocean level is going to rise up. And it never did.
Yeah. Al Gore, if you were to go by that movie, Inconvenient Truth, that he won an Oscar for, which all he did was narrate the shit. I didn't know Al Gore was a fucking meteorologist or a climate scientist. I didn't know that. But he won an Academy Award for the Inconvenient Truth. And he said that if you follow the timeline of Inconvenient Truth, we should already be in some areas of our country underwater. Areas around the planet should be so unbearable that you walk outside, you'll catch on fire. Or better yet, you walk out some areas, you're supposed to be frozen. Like, what was that, the Day After Tomorrow or something like that?
Yeah, Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah,
good movie.
Yeah, that was a good movie, but it was like really, you know. Coach from the Sports Bar says, I thought he invented the internet. That's right. And Man Bear Pig. That's right. Al Gore and Man Bear Pig. I'm not saying that climate change, when it comes to pollution and stuff like that, I'm not saying that it doesn't affect the weather, it doesn't affect whatever. I will say this, though. When we had the lockdown, when everyone was quarantined, we did have, there were some places that finally saw mountains from their neighborhoods that they didn't see because the pollution was down and all this other stuff. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was locking everybody down. That's what you won't get one conspiracy theory here. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe it was because of the lockdowns that we needed that pollution to contain itself. Maybe that's what happened because we didn't do anything for almost a year and a half and the whole world was locked down. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it's because then all of a sudden now the earth is readjusting and all that and just burning motherfuckers alive. Oh, there's over several thousand individuals in Europe dying because of a heat wave. I'm sipping cereal, guys. Exactly that, Daniel.
So you're saying Mother Nature's fixing itself?
Well, I like to, quote Jeff Goldblum like I always say, life finds a way, right?
Isn't that the truth?
So, I'm super cereal, guys. So, aside from, some of that news right there, what else is going on?
I didn't win the lotto.
Yeah.
Well, I did win, but not to that extent.
Not the billion, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to give up my lotto winnings, but I will say this, that I was able to buy maybe a couple more tickets with it. $1 billion
I'm
bucks.
proud of my $10, $6 I made. I'm proud of it.
$1 billion bucks, dude. $1 billion fucker. Could you imagine winning that money? And after taxes, the individual got like $500 million, like $477 million. But still.
Would you just take in the whole payout or just take it?
I'll take a lump sum.
Here
See, that's another thing too. See that there you go. See, that's the catch-22. Knowing how the government is, they'll probably, if you took the lump sum, they'll take money out of that. And I know how you know how the government could be. Then every year they would make you fucking pay taxes on the residuals and all. You know how the government is.
Oh yeah. So I was wondering what you would have done. So we were
I would have
talking
taken a
about
lump.
money
I would
last week.
have taken a lump. I would have taken. I would have taken the lump. I would have still been broadcasting. I'd have still been doing podcasts and stuff. You wouldn't know. No one would ever know it.
You would still wear your flip flops and Ranger panties.
Yeah, still walk around Ranger. Yeah, exactly. Flip flops and Ranger panties. Just walking around, not giving a shit. What would you do with that money, though? And think about that. Think about all the man.
I would have lawyers on standby.
Lawyers on standby.
Well, I got that now, but more on standby, I should say.
For warrants, did you just say you had warrants on standby? Is that what you just said?
Oh, no, I got lawyers on standby.
Lawyers on standby.
But
it sounded like you said you had
I
warrants.
really did win. I definitely have them on standby.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you freaking got warrants and shit? But
let's not talk about that.
Of excellence. Yeah, so one person won. I think there was two people. One person won the billion, the grand prize. Another person won like $1 million or something like that off of it.
I'd have been happy with the mill.
Yeah, exactly. I would have said, like I said, I would have said shit. Would have said nothing.
Has that person came out yet and said they won, or you're being quiet about it?
I think so far nobody's claimed to it. Nobody's claiming anything.
They're probably calling their whole lawyers. Oh man.
What would you do though? I mean, would you just like would you want people to know that you won $1 billion? Would you want people to know?
No.
Would you want certain people to know, but other people not?
Yeah, I'd tell my family I would do. So they leave me alone. Tell it to them to start, hey, I won, but you're not getting a penny, so shut up.
What I would do is I'd be quiet about it, and I would be well, actually, I just wouldn't say anything. I would again, it would be like, yeah, someone's like, hey, I might buy your lunch or some shit. I'd buy you your lunch or something like that, or I'd be pretty charitable with it. I would go. I talked about this before. I would if I won that money, man. I would have like paid teachers school. I would have bought their school supplies, teacher school supplies.
Okay.
I would have like in the local schools. I'd have bought all the kids their lunch. Because now you got that credit system or something like that. You had like a little lunch account or some shit.
Right.
I'd pay the kids off for like every student for the rest of the year, for the next 20 years. Like every kid that came to, I'd give them a fund.
You wouldn't donate a vet group or something?
Even better, what I would do is, one better, I'd go by the VA hospital and see all the homeless veterans, and then I'd grab them up. I mean, they might think they might get kidnapped, but I'd put them in a van and say, hey, we're gonna help you out, man, and then get them a house, get them on their feet, give them some cash, get them started up on a job and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And then like I said, but most of my thing would be more for the kids. Teachers for people. He said that he'd be like Rick James. You mean Rick James, not Rick? Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah. Okay, now I see it. Because you wrote Ruck James. I'll be Ruck James up in this hoe. Kiss the ring, bitch. I saw your correction, Heath. I saw your correction. Yeah, I'd buy people. Yeah, I'd go buy pizza parties, stuff like that. If I'm sitting there hanging out, and don't take me to a club or something like that, because I'd buy everybody's drink. You know what I mean? I'd get drunk or some shit like that, and the next thing you know, I'm like, oh, the whole house is on me. They're like, sir, it's about $30,000, sir. I'll pay it all. I would be like philanthropy that way. You know what I mean? I'd be just but nobody would know. Nobody would know. You know?
That would be one heck of a tab, though.
Yeah, depends. I'd buy out a fucking concert. I saw a meme. Somebody said that they would buy out a whole fucking, I think it was a Kanye show, buy the whole thing out, and then have a sign holding up that says "You suck." Could you be the only one in there? I think it was Kanye. I can't remember. But
that'd be funny to see.
Shit. I'm not saying I don't like Kanye. I'm just saying that those what the meme said. I should have posted an example, but being the fact that I move 1 million miles a minute, then you gotta. Yeah, I'm afraid the show can't keep up. Now I'd buy Xboxes for kids or something like that. I'd go to a homeless shelter, or I'd go to some homeless shelters for orphanages or something like that. And I don't know. I'd be, like I said, use some philanthropy.
You'd be a good Samaritan.
Yeah, exactly. I'd buy guns for people and shit.
Oh, you would? Okay.
Oh yeah, I'd be in a gun store. Somebody's like, yeah, whatever. Offer. I would pay for fucking people to go through weapons training or something like that. And if you graduate, you finish that and you come out and you get a gun, pass a background check, and there you go.
I'd sign up for that class.
Right, dude. See, philanthropy's got to work all ways. You know what I mean? Like I said, most of it though is, because in my old age, you start to become charitable. What was it? Some people say that old people act nice so that way they can get into heaven. Well,
making up for
all the shit. I'd go to the DFAC and fucking I'd pay for like catered chow or something like that to come in. I'd troll the army big time. Well,
if you did that at the DFAC, what installation would you pick to do that with?
I think I would pick, because I know, I want to say it because Josiah's going to come out of the woodwork when I say this. Back at Bragg, at Bragg, they have some decent defects. Actually, I would go to Fort Stewart and unfuck that train wreck of defects there. Benning,
is it that bad there?
Oh God, it sucks. Yeah, Benning, whatever. They have training dollars, but Fort Liberty. Gary's like, welcome some guy at the gun shop. Say, hey brother, you need this class exactly. Straight up, I would be a philanthropist. I'd stay out of politics though. I would not donate money to anybody. I would not, whatever. I would actually, if anything else, I would pay to like shitpost against politicians. Like if they're having a venue or something like that, then I would make sure that, an airplane flying over says you suck with a big banner behind it or something like that. Just shitposting, whatever. Schofield Barracks, yeah. Schofield Barracks. Oh God, I heard, yeah. Exactly. Schofield Barracks, man, I'd buy some property in Hawaii, a lot of property. And then I have Joe's move out there. Because I know right now they're still dealing with that fucking Red Hill fuel storage area that had that big leak, that big fuel leak. And then the Navy said, oh no, water's good. You'll be all right. You can even fuel your car with it. Yeah, I would hit some bad defects. I would go to bad. As a matter of fact, I'd hit some bad defects and I would set up taco trucks in the parking lot. And by the time people realized what was going on, they'd be gone.
Roach coach.
Yeah, better than roach coach. I would hire some, I would use my retired status and just bring all those freaking food trucks on post. It'd be like a food truck tour. You know what I mean? That's what I would have done.
You probably could make some good business doing that.
Make a good business. I wouldn't give a shit. I'm paying the fucking taco trucks to show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, didn't win, you can make a good business out of that.
And I'd go buy I'd go to units that have like really crappy staff duties or really crappy, they still have staff duties. Like at I go to Fort Bliss for that one. Go to Fort Bliss and just go swing by, have a taco truck.
Would you go around and like relieve S1 duties for the day?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I can't, as somebody who's retired, I can't involve myself in military stuff like that. So, I would be like, I don't know.
I feel you.
I mean, there's some things you can't do as a retiree in support of the military that without the military getting the ass and getting you banned from an installation.
True, but that'd be fun though to go relieve S1 and
go
vacation for the day.
No, I couldn't do that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, or, pick a unit to take them out to do something for whatever, and then bring them back. I don't know. Like I said, the philanthropy in me would just be like, wow, I'd be throwing chow to everybody. Seeing somebody struggle with their bills and stuff, all the E4s and below in the unit would get $100,000. I'd be like Oprah, you get a car. I'd be like that and shit. I'd be throwing cash at them, except for the officers. Fuck them.
Speaking of money and all that, do you think we're going to get a pay raise this year for DOD and government workers?
Well, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I hope we do.
I'd hire a locksmith for Area J. I would actually build a lock installation. Yeah, exactly that. So you actually have to have keys to Area J. Somebody did tell me though that they actually have to have keys now for a specific portion of the training area. That there is keys to it.
Really?
Yeah. I would. Yeah. There you go. There you. Oh man, the coach at the sports bar. You damn right. I would be hiring some adult entertainment. Is it like unsat to say that you support single mothers when you say you want to support adult entertainment? Or I want people to get fucking pissed off and say, you're being misogynist. Blah, 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 blah. Hell, I'll hire both sexes. I don't give a shit. Male strippers and women strippers. Have a big party in the training area. Yeah, have more power, dude. These guys are going to the field or some shit like that. I'd fuck up their whole GRTC exercise. I'd lease out some fucking land near there and have like a big party tent and shit. I'd be like the biggest pain in the ass. I would have like, how they have Burning Man out in the fucking desert?
Right.
I'd have Burning Joe or something like that. Burning troops or something. I don't know. I can't say that, but something, a military equivalent. Burning Veteran Festival or some shit. I'd have a big tent out there and partying it up.
With a loudspeaker.
Yeah. Strippers and charges for everybody. Exactly that. I'd actually will purchase some of my own armored vehicles just to fuck with the OP4, fucking with the Blue 4.
Oh.
Just driving around.
They get it on a GoPro.
Yeah, get out. Yeah, just I would be a pain in the butt. I'd be a nuisance, but I'd be for the troops. Yeah, just like hanging out at the VA centers, the vet centers, and the VA hospitals, and I mean, like I said, it sucks, when you're retired and you're out and you see how veterans are being treated, and you're just like, fuck, dude, or you want to know their story. You're some old timer that's got to get walked into the VA center, and then he gets walked out, but then where does he go after that? Is he living well? Does he have his own thing? I'd be like, shit like that just tugs at the heartstrings.
You'd be surprised.
And you just be like, man, that fucking sucks, dude. We're going to take a break right quick. And then we got a lot of stuff to talk about, too, still. Well, not really stuff. We got some calendar shit and some other stuff. CQ's doing some stuff. I'm going to rag on CQ for a little bit. But anywho, we'll be right back. And everybody, make sure you refill your glasses. Smoke them if you got them. Hit the latrine. Right back. Shouts.
What is this Facebook Live? I've never heard of this shit.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue. I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
U.S. Army WTF Moments. I mean, even though we're the voice of U.S. Army WTF Moments, but there's a lot of more cross-pollination of media and graphics and stuff like that. I love doing this shit. Love doing this shit. So you guys remember, what was it back in the day? Hey, Anthony, what the fuck? How you doing? Remember back in the day when we talked about a unit that got locked down in Germany? And they got locked down, like they had all these restrictions on them. They couldn't go out and do stuff. They were like, they got buzzed. Because 6 of their soldiers were busy, were hanging out downtown, down in the Ville, and they got one of those electric scooters, and they freaking they got busted for DUIs. So
that happened again?
I'm just telling you, that's what happened initially.
Right.
And so there was like a general order number 1, and also they can't drink, they have to have a curfew, and all this stuff. Well, as predicted, U.S. Army WTF Moments said, hey, maybe you should be careful. Maybe you should just punish the individuals that got busted. Because if you restrict soldiers, naturally, they're gonna get busted. They're gonna do shit that's gonna make you, because of the rules that you in place, make you do more red tape to get them busted. Well, I'll just say this: they had restrictions now. This is a brigade out of 3rd Infantry Division that's doing rotational shit out in Germany, and they got busted for drinking and driving on scooters. We said, hey, be careful when you do this. This mass punishment thing will only make it worse.
Right.
What year was back in the day? Because I was in Germany in 2000 and 2003. Oh, cool. Really? Where are you? Oh, okay. Back in the day for me in Germany was the 90s. In the mid-90s. As a matter of fact, I spent a lot of time in Germany, and then was PCS to the States, and then I came back to Germany, and about that time frame right there. Not 2000 though, but I was in Germany around 2000ish. And then I came back in 2000. Anyways, so the brigade that did all these restrictions now has had an update. Did we take the graffiti post down? Did we take it down? Did we? Hang on. So let's talk about that graffiti post in a minute. So let me give you some screenshot madness here. A big weekend for the brigade team. Last night, the brigade had 6 soldiers out of rank, 5 soldiers arrested, 3 drunk on duty, 1 unauthorized absence unknown, and then 1 charged with assault. This is the same brigade that had the mass punishment and the restrictions for drinking while stationed in Germany, or while being deployed, quote unquote, deployed to Germany. The graffiti post disappeared, did it? Oh, really? Let me check. Let me see. Hang on. Let me ask the admins what's going on here. Let me see. Did it really? Did it get shut down, the graffiti post? I'll tell you why the graffiti post, what happened. The E4 Mafia is coming back. And, hang on. The graffiti post, let me ask the bosses at the, The reason why I said the E4 Mafia is coming back is, back in the day, you want to talk about the 90s and stuff like that. Well, before WTF Moments ever came around, the E4 Mafia dispensed its own justice to leaders that were toxic as shit. Let me tell you a story. Since we're talking about back in Germany, back in the day, there was a toxic commander that had his fucking vehicle, all the windows broken out, car spray painted like a motherfucker. He had like his baller ass car. I think he had like a BMW or something like that. Anyways, toxic ass leader.
Where they put it on some cinder blocks?
Dude, it freaking, they smashed all of his windows. He was very derogatory to members of the minority class in the military, blacks and Hispanics, and so his vehicle all the windows got smashed. Every if it had glass or plastic, it got smashed. The headlights, the taillights, the windows, the windshield scratch, and then on the hood it was spray painted. It said racist. And I think one of them caught burned portion of the vehicle. All the tires were slashed. Everything that could be damaged, done. So the E4 Mafia has come back. And the same thing with with that graffiti post. Your soldiers will fucking turn on you like that. This is the way it was back in the mid 90s, late 80s. Toxic leadership was handled that way. Didn't have Facebook. Didn't have U.S. Army WTF moments. So, yeah, careful. So that's what happened with the brigade. There you go. So there's our screenshot madness for that one, and which is pretty messed up. However, again, we appreciate all the comments that you guys post. Hey, look, if we get breaking balls and we get when people are shit talking on the post, we don't really care. Just know that your commands and your command sergeants major. Your commanders are looking at all the comments that you post on there. However, if you go to Twitter, just go ahead and dime out the leaders that are posting shit posting there, so that it'll even it out. But anyways, they'll look at some of the comments that you say. Well, we do too. We ask that you guys, breaking balls and all that, don't go suggesting to other followers to off yourself, because you'll get banned.
Yep. It's the whole world to see once it goes online.
Once it goes online and you see somebody telling somebody else to go off themselves, that's a ban, man. We joke around about other shit. We see the inter-service rivalries happening on the timeline and all the comments. Totally fucking, we think it's funny. There are specific measures in place on Facebook. Facebook will zuck you too. But telling somebody to off themselves, yeah. So let's go back to the good old days. Like I said, if your command, just remember this: if your command ever comes after you for posting a comment or saying something on U.S. Army WTF moments, just go to their Twitter handle and look at their Twitter account, and then say, "Look, but sir or ma'am, you posted this." See what the fuck happens. So, anyways,
two-way road, not a one-way road.
Yeah, exactly. So another thing that we're doing with the main page is that we have picks of the week. I'm gonna tell you what, man, the fans have been killing it. They have been throwing some great imagery at us, and we're just in awe of what the Force provides us. It's awesome.
I love seeing those photos go out.
Yeah, dude, picks of the week is awesome. Great idea to the admins when they decided to do that. And also, we have comments of the week. So like I said about the comments and stuff like that, we know we can't verify some commenters that post on Facebook by going to them on their Twitter account. However, because some of them are anonymous and some of them are not anonymous on either account. However, we have comments of the week. We talked about this before.
Right.
So now, one of the comments that we have, now you guys have noticed some weird or odd looking picture. You guys keep saying it looks like one of the three amigos. How dare you say that? Do you guys know who that is? Nobody knows who that is? That's Jose, dude. That's like a subtle callback. One of the comments, as a matter of fact, on the couple we've had 2 Jose posts already. Jose's DTS is going to be fire. Another comment we have in here. I'd do it. What are they going to do? Take my birthday away? MPs aren't real cops. Man, bam. Shots fired to the MPs. Another comment we got here. Somewhere, First Sergeant is waking up from a disturbance right now, knowing he didn't tell his Joes during final formation not to fuck around and find out with the wildlife. Another one's re-enlistment rates for officers should be noted on OER as an announce to the change of command ceremony so everybody knows what to expect. damn right. That comment right there is fire. The wildlife one was due to the fact that some Joe decided to grab a baby rattlesnake and said, "Oh, here we have." He's gonna act like freaking the crocodile hunter. That was the response to that comment, because Joe's, you'd be messing with wildlife. But this right here, this comment right here, I think is a baller as hell. This is a good note. Re-enlistment rates for officers should be noted on OERs and announced to the change of command ceremony so everybody knows what to expect. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if like your QTB slides were announced to the change of command? Like you had a change of command ceremony.
Right.
And the next thing you know, someone's like, so-and-so's unit didn't do very good on re-enlistment. And by the way, his unit's MedPro stats sucked. His unit didn't qualify, expert and all this. His unit PT average sucked. I think that's so cool.
Oh, it is cool, but but actually, does that make the military better doing that?
Dude, it's kind of funny, huh? Isn't it kind of funny? Think about that. A very good question. Very good question. It's funny how social media, shaming individuals like that on social media is okay or whatever, but in the presence of them, in the presence of their peers, I think it'd be awesome. I think it'd be so cool to have that posted up, to have that during the change of command ceremony.
I mean, you do a trial run with that to see how it goes.
See what happens. Josiah says, re-up, you cray-cray. Man. So, I'm getting some word. Hang on. I guess I see some responses to, or some commenting to the graffiti post now. Again, that's what I'm saying. Back in the day, when there was a commander or a first sergeant that was toxic, that's how the E4 Mafia handled it. Woe to you if you left your POV in the parking lot of your company or your battalion if you were a toxic leader. Now, somebody said it was taken down. Oh, let me see. Maybe you need to check your TL, guys. Because hang on. Let me look. Did it get taken down?
What?
Nah, I don't think it did. Unless somebody reported it or something like that. Hang on, let me look.
Oh, that could probably happen.
Yeah, people such whiny bitches. There we go. What are you talking about?
Everyone wins these days.
Yeah. How about you refresh your TL? You had me everybody freaking out. I got all the admins yelling at me. WTF moments. Thanks. Now my bosses are all pissed. Now the boss is going to ask me, what are you talking about, Ken? What do you mean? What graffiti post you ask? Well, now, hang on. Let me show you. I love this. This is what happens when you're a toxic leader. No one has pride in your organization no more, and no one respects you as a leader.
Ouch.
I mean,
but they did miss the lockers they could have used.
Yeah, I did see some lockers there. They're flat dicking on their fucking graffiti there. I'd have done it up gang style and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'd have like really made it like, But this is what happens when you have the toxicity. This is what happens when your organization does not respect you. I love it. You go, E4 Mafia. You go. What do you guys think? You guys think it's over the edge? Do you guys think a toxic leader should have the organization tagged like that?
Messed up.
You think it's messed up?
They should have used color crowns though.
They should. I mean,
add a little color to it.
I mean, it's pretty prominent there. It says "Fuck First Sergeant Smith."
It's pretty bold letters though.
Josiah says somebody is salty as fuck. But what if it's what if it's the leader? Like I said, this is the shit that we saw mid-90s, late 80s. Toxic leadership was handled this way. So fuck First Sergeant Smith. I don't know First Sergeant Smith. I'm just saying. I'm just, saying. Bold move, right? Think about this. Think about it. Think about it. You got everyone. Just pump your brakes. Think about this. Access.
That would have been an impulse action.
Yeah. Ooh,
so if they really thought about that, they probably wouldn't have ever done it.
No, but you know what? He's got a good point too. What if it's the command? What if it was the commander that did that? What if it's the captain that did that?
Ooh.
What if it's the captain that did that? What would you
or
say?
Or the major.
Well, yeah, or the S3. What if it was like what if it was the CSM or something like that, or the Ops Sergeant Major or something like that? You guys can do your taskings. Will it change anything for them? I don't know. But think about this. Had to be obviously it was an inside job. Think about the individuals involved to open up the company headquarters. To go inside and do it. Be a lookout. More than one. Did they have access to the whole company the whole time?
Did they have CQ on duty?
Did they have anybody walking by on CQ? Who was around, right? Is there cameras in the locale that were shut off?
Did MP responded alarms for the building?
Right, exactly. Exactly. Little nuanced things like that. That's what you would say. This is indicative to you being a piece of shit leader and you can't control your troops. Is the first sergeant toxic? Is the company commander toxic? Can we teach these kids how to do better graffiti? That is some of the most jacked up graffiti on the planet.
How would you grade their effort, though? Not their artwork, the effort.
I would say the effort and the outlandishness of it. I would say go for it. That's an A+. I would say the creative side was probably like a C or D, but I would say their effort and in your faceness like that right there.
Priceless,
yeah, exactly. Effort of the balls, exactly. You know what? You got a good point, David. I would say more for the balls. Because soldiers don't have balls to do this shit like that. And I'm surprised. It harks back to, like I said, the way the E4 Mafia used to be. A lot of the old timers that I see in the chats right now saying this is the way the E4 Mafia used to be. They used to do shit like this. I kind of want to know what the hell this was. Let me open up this graphic right here, and I want to see what the hell.
Careful what graphic you open. Don't open up that personal stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I'm trying to omit faces and stuff for this pic that I got. I don't want people's faces to show. But what's up with this? What's up with this little? Looks like a goblin trying to eat something with a goofy ass Punisher skull right there. Everyone's saying the thought would not cross your mind in 2010. This is 2022. This is the year of Satan Javelin. Now we have Joe's just tagging up fucking units, not giving a shit. Dave said that this sounds like a cheap excuse to paint the lockers in the unit colors. Ugh. I will say this is hilarious. Could you imagine coming in, being part of the E4 Mafia, sitting around, commanders like pissed off, having formations and shit? Who did this? Poorly done, Texas. I don't even know what that is.
What?
Somebody's trying to say that they try to draw out the state of Texas. So again, I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. All I know is that First Sergeant Smith, you need to control your shit. Even as a matter of fact, it looks like it says like someone tried to say fuck C Company or something like that. And then it said HSC is better or something like that. It looks like they're trying to they were having a problem with spells here. Saying HSC is better.
It's always the issue with spelling.
1994 was lit. Heath, you know the deal, man. This was before WTF Moments. At least people could post shit now on WTF Moments. Back in the day, E4 Mafia didn't have WTF Moments. They'd set cars on fire and shit. Bust windows. Flatten tires.
Put on boxing gloves.
Yep. HHC is better, and then fuck Sequoia. I don't know what that is. I don't even know. Adam, I just told you Jose is back. You just didn't see it. You guys notice? Look, again, I'm going to tell you. If you guys see this post right here, if you guys see any imagery with this.
Jose has always been here, just on a low profile.
Yeah, he's been on a low profile. I'm going to say, hanging out. This is the image that everyone said it was like the fucking Three Amigos. And how dare you insult Jose like this? You guys saying this Jose. It's messed up.
And then referring to him as a taco?
Yeah, it's Jose Tamale, man. Everyone was like, this guy was Three Amigos. If you see a posting like this, who do you think it is? Without saying it.
It's Batman, right?
It's, yeah. The Batman. The Dark Cholo. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Ooh, Adam says First Sergeant Smith did it. That's a possibility too. There's that hero syndrome. Remember after 9/11 happened and all the firefighters were getting all the love and everyone support firefighters and all that? And there were some cases where firefighters actually set buildings on fire to be the hero. Sure about that?
Someone's going to get poor duty to scrub all of that off the lockers.
Yeah, exactly. Is that Cad Bane? Bro, I know. Cad Bane's badass, man. I'm sorry. I'm a Star Wars fan. Speaking of which, I wonder if CQ is going to talk about tomorrow. He's got a big hint. CQ tomorrow is going to be talking about his review of the Netflix special called Purple Hearts. A story of love where a Marine decides to marry a woman just to get out of the barracks. Now, for some of my friends have said that this is actually a good movie. However, we're going to make sure we have CQs. As a matter of fact, I think I might call in. I might come in to make sure that CQ does this review.
I'll make sure I'm not listening because I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, no spoilers. And tomorrow's the release of Andor. Another Star Wars TV series. It's going to be badass. Sorry, I'm a Star Wars fan. Just deal with it. Get over it.
You are?
Oh,
no.
No, come on,
You didn't
man.
know that. No, come on.
I will say that
Star Wars. We got it.
Yeah, exactly. Star Wars, yeah. May the 5th of 2023 is going to be lit. Joe from the Sports Bar says that it literally is the most realistic movie since The Longest Day. Purple Hearts is the name. Make sure you tune in to CQ. Wednesday, obviously, is a day off. Thursday is Sergeant's time. Myself and Spanky. I think Spanky's going to be back. I'm not sure. I think she'll be back. I think. Well, we'll talk about other Army and military-related events. Is Friday Night Freedom back? Is Cause back, I think? Isn't Cause back?
I believe so.
I think he's back, yeah, because I think that was the last week he said he was going to take off. Friday Night Freedom Friday.
Calendar.
Saturday is going to be, of course, a day off, and then Sunday, guys, be on the lookouts for Sundays, so that way the sports bar comes out. Monday, the Monday Dish with myself and Shipwreck. Then, of course, CQ. Cause and Pookie. I mean, I'm flat taking on my fucking names here. Friday Night Freedom's got Cause and Pookie. Monday Dish is myself and Shipwreck. Tuesday is Michael Carrasquillo as CQ. And, of course, the voice of the unpop culture, Radar.
Hey, Radar makes that show.
Everyone, me and Radar hung out. Got a couple, got some drinks. Chilled. Came on and visited. Was driving through. Linked up. Had a good time.
Lucky you.
It was fun. It was a great time.
I'm jealous.
It was a great time. And then we have, of course, Sergeant's Time with myself and Spanky, and then Friday Night Freedom with Cause and Pookie. Anyways, what else we got going on? Hello, sir. USA. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you're damn right. USA. Thatcher's.
All the freedom devices we have.
All the freedom devices, that's right.
On call with a push of a button.
Exactly. Anywho, thanks guys and gals for hanging out tonight. Do you got anything for me? Make sure you follow on all of our socials. We're on 2 Facebook pages, U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. We're on Twitter. We're on the Twitters at WTFNationRadio.com or at WTF Nation Radio. We're at WTF Nation Radio on YouTube. And, of course, at WTF Nation Radio on Twitch. We're on Twitch. Little gamer kids. China needs to stop this bluff about America and Taiwan. Yeah, we talked about that in the beginning of the show, man. China can eat a dick.
You really think it's a bluff?
Taiwan is a country. You think it is? I'd like to see them try it. We don't give a shit. Nobody gives a shit. We literally have the heads of the national security saying that TikTok is a detriment to national security, and people don't give a shit. People are still fucking shaking that ass and singing their songs and doing the co-watching and then doing the duos and lip syncings and all that. Nobody gives a shit. They want that TikTok. TikTok is giving people that clout that they've never had before in their lives. I bet you if you said we banned, I bet you if a politician bans TikTok, I guarantee it there'd be a campaign to vote that individual out. That's how bad it is.
You really think so?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. People are, bro. This is the stimulation that they want. Here I'm trying to fucking get shit banned. We're already banned in 77 countries because we shit post on them. China being one of them.
Have we been banned from TikTok yet?
Actually, yes. The WTF Nation has been had a suspension on the TikTok account. Yeah, for shit posting too. So.
Oh, we never do that.
You don't think so? We never. Of course not.
No,
of course not.
It's not SOPs. It just happens.
Hey, quick question: how long are you going to stay streaming? We're shutting off, man. I was just reading the lineup. Show comes on at 2000 Eastern Standard Time. So, but once we're done, you can freaking you can just listen to us on there on YouTube and stuff like that on an app on your phone. Oh, you guys like watching us on patrol? That's awesome. Appreciate your listenership and your followership. Appreciate that.
At least we're helping their duties go by quicker.
Yeah, that you're saying, oh, come on, he's going on patrol. Yeah, well, luckily for us, that you could go ahead in the timeline and rewind it, and there you go. I know you want to interact. Oh, wait, if you're interacting with us, aren't you on patrol? Shouldn't you be patrolling?
Hopefully not driving on a flight line.
You drive? Yeah, exactly. You driving? Are you driving and texting, Thatcher? What's up with that? Oh man, 12-hour shift really goes fast. Oh well, I'm glad we can help on that stuff. But like I said, we're about for about an hour and a half. Depends if we have guests. Then we have usually on for 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours. So anyhow, we're gonna cut, man. So you got anything for me, Shitrack? You got anything you want to say?
Don't get too drunk over there.
Don't get too drunk over Europe. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, don't get too drunk over there and drive electronic devices.
Exactly. All right, guys and gals, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and and enjoy your night, and see you.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And then you're going to come down to the stables and you'll start working with the horses, and it's nothing mandatory. Like our first session, we got out here and we just started grooming a horse. Patrick showed us how to groom a horse, and it was just fun. And as we're grooming a horse, we're telling our stories.